Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Welcome. We're going to take a look at the overall energy that you may be up against. Always look at you first, then your person, or who's in your energy. Today, I'm going to be looking at Aries through Pisces at the end, too, if you're in no contact with somebody, and I'll see the energy with that and the possibility of contact. All right, I do see the Nine of Wands. All right, this card, I can't help but see this card as, my God, I feel like giving up. What the hell's next? I do a lot. I've done a lot. I just want to break, right? Now, this can be everyday life. It can be the relationship situation that you're in, but it does feel like you just don't have room for any more pressure in your life. And you may be reevaluating all the work you put into something and just wondering, has it been worth it? There's been a lot of trials and tribulations with this card, a lot of pressures put on you. Maybe people put a lot of pressure on you. Maybe you put the pressure on you to take care of everything, or, and you're doing the most work in the relationships in your life, right? So even with the person that's on your mind, this can show up in all relationships, and you might not realize that you may overextend yourself or work too hard to make something happen. So it does seem like right now the energy around you is creating sort of a pressure cooker. Like you got to sit down for a second, right? And reevaluate your approach to the situations in your life. Now you have the Nine of Pentacles here, and so this could be definitely work related or just always feeling responsible for everything, right? And the nines are also a number of completion. So, it may get tighter. It may feel heavier right now than before because you're reaching this point where maybe something's just not working. You need a little bit more freedom. Need a little bit more time to spend on yourself, to figure things out. And it just seems like you're being squeezed right now and you just want some give room, some leeway. All right, so let's take a look at you and then look at the people that or the person that's in your mind. I see the Eight of Pentacles, all right? So I do see that you're a hard worker here, very focused, and you're good at what you do, and you're good in relationships, you're good with other people. You seem to know how to keep it together, and or you're trying so hard to keep it together with people that just are not putting in as much effort as you are. Okay, so that can become a problem, and that's where you're taking on too much responsibility for a situation. Let's see your biggest challenge, the Sun card. It's really draining your light right now. All right, the Sun card. You're searching for clarity. Now, I know I'm doing a love reading, and I just can't help but see you not expressing your truth, right? You're hiding, or just maybe you're afraid to lose everything that you've worked so hard for. And the Sun card as a challenge is like something is stripping you of your joy. All right. Whether it's your work, whether it's your relationships, remember, work and relationships can bleed into one another. All the patterns in your life, everything that you've taken on can also drain you of this light that you have. And, finding the joy in every day or finding the joy in a relationship, just wanting to be in love, wanting to feel illuminated again and revived. All right. So, if you're not feeling this way and you can't seem to find the sun or anything positive throughout your day or in a relationship that you're connected, or you feel like is it about love anymore, or is it just about duty and work? Do you just feel like something has turned into, responsibilities? It's If this is your relationship, you got to bring that light back. You got to find the reason why you're even invested in something, and that's the Nine of Wands. It's like, I need to take a look here. Is where I'm putting my energy, is it getting me anywhere, or do I constantly feel like, I'm losing the light, I'm losing the passion for it, and there's no growth, or I don't feel like there's any growth? So we'll have to take a look at your person to see where you stand and what's the possibility here of growth. Because some people, you reach a point in relationships, and just when you're about to give up is when there's a breakthrough, because you do see the eights and the nines showing up for you. So sometimes we put a lot of work into something and we get a huge payout. This can be, a positive card too, even in the challenge position. You're seeking your happiness. You're trying to take it day by day and hoping that you get to that place of happiness that you've been, wanting and working so hard for. So I do have a Leo energy here, but let's take a look at the situation, how you view the situation or your person. And I see the Six of Wands. All right. So there could be a little bit of unhappiness here, I see, because you're dealing with somebody who's 6 of Wands, needs a lot of attention or gets a lot of attention and may not notice how much work you're putting into the connection, right? You have somebody that needs validation and works really hard as well too, but maybe focused on their own endeavors right now. This could be social media, this could be just work in general, this could be just, I'm somebody that works with the public, I'm somebody that is, I work with a lot of people or I connect with a lot of people. So a lot of people admire this person, and that can weigh on you, especially if you feel like you're not getting their attention or it's just too hard to keep up with what they need, right? And it just feels like you're always constantly maybe trying to get this person to see you, but you're not expressing yourself with this person. It feels like, you're trying to stand out with somebody, but you're dealing with somebody. It's a very good card, though. Your person here has really high qualities, potential. Maybe they're seeking their own success, their own validation in their own ways, right? But somebody like this can be pulled in a lot of directions, whereas you're super focused on them. Just, you see them as your happiness. You see them as home. You see them as, potential growth, somebody that you can work really well with. But you're battling sometimes for their attention, which seems to be an ongoing process here. What was underneath that? Oh, the Nine of Pentacles. All right, so let's see your person. Could be a very strong Leo energy coming through, which is your opposite sign, Aquarius. So that can tell me that they challenge you. They challenge you in a lot of ways. You might be somebody that's good to just be by yourself, do your thing. You get, I mean, you're definitely a social sign. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you definitely connect with people. But when it comes to love or romance and having fun, you're battling somebody who has an ego, who really does need to be the center of attention. And the challenge is you're not always the center of their attention, or don't always feel like you're as important maybe at times, right? In this case here, your person here may value you. It seems like you're a very valuable asset. Like they really do see your worth and how hard you work. But they may get this everywhere they go, or they may be used to high standards, and they may be just not acting grateful right now for how much you have given them. And so this is somebody who's moving in a different direction. You seem to be focused on just trying to keep things together with somebody who seems to be looking for validation elsewhere. So let's see what's going on with them. And if they have moved on, or you feel like they're pulling away, it has to do with this mask they're wearing. They need to constantly, like I said, be validated for their successes, a bunch of gold stars, for a job well done. And if they've already, if they feel like they've accomplished this with you, and you are not somebody that's going to constantly validate this person, right? And you're just kind of taking care of the relationship itself, this person may miss the mark. They may not see until they go away or lose you a little bit, right? Or you pull away. They may not realize how strong and structured you really have been for them. So somebody like this, and I don't ever wish this upon anybody, but sometimes in this can be a really good place to be in, right? A really good, very successful place to be in. It's like this person is working towards success, and we can see a lot of success in this relationship potential, right? But this person here can get caught up in the attention, and ego starts to rule, and then they lose sight of what's really important. And sometimes you can fall off that horse. Think of it as like the high horse energy. But let's take a look at them. I have the Three of Cups here for your person. All right. A lot of people around your person, all right? They like to have fun. They like to have a good time, right? And you seem to be somebody who's really serious, always working, always trying to have fun. Always trying to keep business matters going, right? Or the relationship going. However, you're just very strongly invested is what I'm seeing with you. You'd probably do anything for this person, right? But the thing is, though, is it's weighing, even though there's a lot of great energy here, you guys had fun when you met. When you get together, you've had lots of fun times. You probably have really good memories. There's also strong room to grow. But this person here seems to be more about the party, the fun, the good times, the socializing, going out, hanging out, and you seem to be about, I need practical things in my life. We need to hold it together. I want a relationship that's stable. I want to grow. I want to work towards marriage. And your person saying, I want to work towards appearances. I want to work towards fame. I want to work towards getting my ego fed, right? Which we all can be. We all can do these things. But so all it's showing is that you may be, your values may be on different things right now. But the problem is the sun card, whereas you may be doing all the work. Okay. Now, their biggest challenge with you is the Queen of Wands, all right? You're very ambitious, remember the challenge position for me is not only the challenge that you're up against, but it's also an opportunity or what's gluing the two of you together, all right? So we can see there's been a lot of playtime, there could have been sexual activity, there could have been some joy in the relationship, but when things start to become mundane or you tend to try to hold it together constantly. If you were to let go, what would this person do? And now I'm seeing the challenge is Queen of Wands. And so maybe there is a distraction around you. Maybe this person is, they like attention or they want attention. You get strong Leo energy here, and maybe you're burnt out. Maybe you're burnt out and you're not don't take this personal. This is just a perspective. Sometimes we can be so burnt out from work or burnt out from trying to keep something together or making something serious or building something when another person's values right now are on fun, socializing, connecting, and having a good time and growing and living in the moment, right? And they may see you as somebody who's hyper ambitious, but also maybe burnt out. And so you could be very stressed. That Nine of Wands is why I'm saying that with the Queen of Wands can be somebody who takes on so much and just does so much that you lose your light, you lose your passion, and then you start to get drained. Your energy starts to get drained. And this person here, it doesn't look like anything's affecting them. It looks like they just want to, lighten things up, have fun, good times. So you're showing up as somebody who's in a queen position here, somebody who will take care of other people and will care for them, but it's going to burn you out, right? And now if there's another person, because there could be a third party situation here, there could be a distraction here that has been pulling their energy away from you. Now, for some of you, you may already know this, or there's just your person needs, like I said, validation from other people to feel important, right? And so let's see how they view you, though. The Seven of Pentacles, and what's shifting for them this week. I see the Page of Wands. And what does Spirit want you to know regardless? And I see the Justice card. So screams integrity here. All right. So if somebody is pulling away from you for attention and ego, they view you as the Seven of Pentacles. All right. So that it kind of feels like they put you on hold for a second, or they're reevaluating the situation. And it looks like, they're wanting to have more fun, but maybe now they know that you want to make plans for the future here. They know you want a strong commitment, but it seems like your person's leaving you in a place of uncertainty about what the future plans are. Now, what I can see that's shifting this week is the Page of Wands, which tells me somebody here is going to be flirting with you this week. You're going to be calling you, texting you, and the Justice card is showing up. And this is where you got to stay true to your values when it comes to this person here, because when the fun dies out and the challenge, the Queen of Wands, if somebody here, it looks like they may be dealing with somebody that can be very intense. And if there is another in person, it may die out quickly, because fire as a challenge is, it lights you up, but then it dies out. Same thing with this success here. Same thing with this validation. Somebody may be seeking something more and then realize, it just is it's going to keep them stuck. But what I don't like is they're trying to keep you on hold here to make sure they have a situation that they still can make plans with you and go somewhere. So I'm seeing the Page of Wands, and you have a page coming back in. And the thing with the Three of Cups and the Page of Wands is this still is somebody that is wanting more fun and relaxation and sexual energy and flirting, and there's lust, there's passion, but they seek that constantly, and you're seeking stability. So the Justice card is showing you that there is potential for this person. They get distracted easy, they really do, but maybe they're starting to see, with that Seven of Pentacles showing up, maybe they're starting to see that this is getting them nowhere. For some of you, this can be a pattern of somebody that when they get bored, or when they feel like they're missing out, or they need more attention, they seek it externally from other people or other situations, but then they realize it doesn't get them anywhere, right? And so that will lead them back to you. But the question is going to be whether that's in alignment with your truth inside, your true values, right? So somebody may be trying to make something right with you. They may come back this week and want to give this another go, right? But just keep in mind that you're going to have to really take a look at this situation, and look at the pattern and see if they're really showing up to make it work for you, because you've been putting a lot of work in, and I can see the setback you're having is showing me that this has been ongoing, like maybe on again, off again, and you're just getting really burnt out and tired. So this could be where you either find closure with somebody, but also with the Justice card, it can say where, there is potential with this Seven of Pentacles for somebody to say to you, I've really been thinking about my actions, and I get it. I seem to think I'm going to find happiness elsewhere, but it always leads me back to you. And you have the 7, 8, and 9 of Pentacles, which could be, this week could be a closure of a situation. The final truth is calling, which it looks like the ball's in your court, where you're finally getting the peace that you want from this person. But you also could be evaluating the situation, and this is calling for discernment. So with that being said, let's look at Aries through Pisces. You have strong Leo, you have strong Libra, and Aries and Sag is showing up here too. But remember, what I'm seeing is you are showing up as being the one that does all the work. You hold the fort down. You keep this connection alive, but it's burning you out because this person here maybe gives other people, other situations in their life, the attention, and they forget who's always there for them, or who has been there for them, or who's really bringing value to their life, where they're seeking value elsewhere, until they realize that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So now, if you are in no contact with somebody, this part is going to be completely different, but I'm sure it could be relevant to the person that we're talking about here as well. But let's see in the next 7 days if there's potential, the energy of somebody reaching out to you, breaking no contact. All right. So I have Death card for Aries. So it looks like you already know you've outgrown, or this could be the over, you kind of moving on from somebody. So there's a no for an Aries. It looks like, the situation has just played its course. That doesn't mean that in the future we couldn't revisit it again. So keep in mind, the Death card just shows that a part of this story is over. You're hanging on to something, and it's just not happening right now. Taurus, 10 of Pentacles, all right? So Taurus, you got the 7, 8, 9, 10 now of Pentacles with a Taurus. So this can be a very promising. It's like a Taurus is realizing that they were getting distracted by money, success, other people, maybe status, maybe investing in other people that could raise their status. I don't know. Or they just were always consumed by money in their work. It looks like they're very invested in you, and maybe finally realizing, there could be falling in love again here with the Taurus. Gemini, the Devil card, a strong attachment between you and a Gemini. This shows me that there is some sort of pattern that you guys are in, right? So that pattern is still continuing. So even if there's been no contact, eventually, if there's a pattern of on again, off again, it looks like it's still there. This is a chance for you, though, the Devil card, to decide with that Justice card if you want to close that karma chapter. Right. So Cancer, I see 3 of Wands, right? So there is potential for Cancer to reach out. They may be seeing things differently, wanting to see movement, still wants to see where things can go with you. Leo, the strength card. All right, so Leo here kind of, has a lot of ego here, a lot of pride, but it looks like there's some healing energy going on. I'm seeing, your Leo may be coming back in a little bit more gentle, a little bit more, just hoping that you guys can mend things. Virgo, Five of Pentacles. So you may not hear from a Virgo. Looks like it just might not turn out in your favor right now. It feels to me like they keep the light on. They like to keep you guessing, but you're still dealing with the same struggles with a Virgo. Libra, the Temperance card, right? So right now it seems like they're just kind of doing their own thing, trying to figure out which way they're going. But it doesn't mean that you won't hear from them. There is a possibility here with the Temperance card. It says, just timing. It's timing, all right? Scorpio, Three of Swords. Might be too soon to hear from a Scorpio. Three of Swords. There could have been a recent separation or the third party or a heartbreak but it just gives me an energy of maybe not hearing from. Remember, anything's possible, but it is showing me that possibly not hearing from them just yet. Sagittarius. It looks like things looking good with a Sagittarius. This talks about surrendering and trusting. If it doesn't happen now, you guys may find yourselves coming into alignment again here in the future. This might be the time where you're healing something with you and a Sagittarius. Capricorn, the World card. So a chapter closing, but it doesn't mean, just like the Death card, the World card says, we've completed something here. Something is over and we have to accept where we're at. There is possibilities of a new chapter beginning, but it's not going to look like the same way it was before. So right now there could be closure. So if you do here, you may be closing the chapter. But I would go with right now, maybe things are still letting them be, letting something close before you reopen that doorway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Aquarius, King of Wands. Look at that. King of Wands, Queen of Wands showing up for you. So I do see a strong partnership. There is potential in this reading right here for somebody maybe to step up to the plate, but you really have to be the one in charge here. That King of Wands, if you're going to open your heart to a situation that's really you've had to put so much work into it. There's potential here. You have a lot of love, vision. You got to stay true to your own boundaries here. But you may hear from another Aquarius, and Pisces is thinking of you. You're thinking of them. There could be a reconciliation, them reaching out, or even if you reach out, you may find that you guys are reconnecting. So if you're still with me, I'm going to pull a yes, no for you. So if you have a question on your mind, think about your question. All right. I have a no here. And I do see something turning around. It seems as though somebody may have been questioning things. If you've been dealing with somebody holding back communication, it does look like that they could be opening up communication. And, but just be aware that sometimes somebody could be saying what you want to hear. And that's where the Justice card is coming in too. Right, somebody may come back around, but they may be giving you the same song and dance, the same lines, and be aware of that. All right. So it's okay. Of course we have free will, but just remember, if it's a pattern, it most likely will repeat itself if you don't stand in your truth. I love you guys and take care. Till next time.